So have you found some great models that you can use? Hopefully you have more than one. And hopefully over time you'll build a library of them. So let me give you a third way to build confidence instantly. It's not quite as fast, but once you've gone through the process, then you'll be able to use it again and again very quickly. So just as a review, you've got the bragging exercise, you've got a modeling exercise, and the next one we're going to call anchoring exercise. Now, ask yourself, what is an anchor? Boat anchor. Yeah, it's something that holds a boat in place. It holds something in place. So in our minds, if you listen to our good friend Tony Robbins and many others, we talk about anchors, and we have positive and negative anchors or memories, emotions that are still stored inside. And so sometimes when it comes time to do something where doubt seeps in and confidence is waning a little bit, you need to be able to go to a very positive anchor to bring your energy and the recollection of success back. So how do you do that? Very, very simply. It's called anchoring love and success. And quite simply, the way that it works is this, and let me step you through it very quickly. I have you recall a time in your life when you were 100% and completely successful. Now, where were you? Think about it. What were you wearing? If anyone else was there, who was there? At a time when you knew you were successful. What did you see? How did it feel? And even with your eyes closed, maybe is a better way to do this, to think about and feel that time and recall it. And as you recall it in a full motion picture in your mind, you take your right hand, make a fist, squeeze it, just say yes. Anchor, you're successful. Okay? And go through that several times. Recall another time in your life, a time in your life when you were 100% and completely loved. Where were you? Was anyone else there? And how did you know? And recall it in as much detail as you possibly can. But for right now, I just have you recall those two times. Notice how you're feeling right now. Remember in the very beginning, I said that you've got to celebrate all wins. A high five, an anchor, a fist, something. Why? Because now, when you need it, when confidence is low and you need to get your confidence up, you recall the time of success, the wins that you've been anchoring like this, you recall it, say yes, and the energy comes back. It's very much like Pavlov's dog. You keep conditioning the response that you want, and it'll come back when you need it. But if you have not been celebrating the wins, it's not going to work. Success was not a difficult one. I can recall a lot of times when I had wins, when I had great wins in front of rooms of people, when I achieved things in my life. For me, however, love was a little more difficult. Recalling a time when I was truly loved was difficult because I had a lot of problems with relationships earlier in my life. And it wasn't until my wife, the day before we got married, over 26 years ago, looked at me and she said, "Blair, I want you to hear this. I am never, ever going to leave you." And I don't know how she knew what to say, but it went from her heart to her eyes to my heart. And I can remember that as if it happened 10 seconds ago. Whew. The only one better than that was July 17th, 1995, 6:27 p.m. when our first son, Benjamin, was born. And I remember him coming out of delivery, and he's like this already, and I reached down to touch him, and my little finger just brushed past his hand, and instinctively, as a newborn will do, he grabbed my finger. Love, success, the whole thing. Right there. And no matter what's going on in my mind, no matter what's going on out here, I go to that state, I go to that place, I anchor that love and success. I'll take on anybody, anytime for the right reasons. So your assignment now is to go to your workbook and recall a time and write it down, a time in your life that you were successful. What were the circumstances? How did you know? What did you see? How did it feel? A time when you were loved. And if you can think of more than one, feel blessed by that. And just know that those are some of the best parts of your life. And if your little voice says, "You weren't really successful, that wasn't good enough, they didn't really love," tell your little voice to shut up, let it go, and stay with it. Some of the most powerful times in your life, you'll forget unless you anchor them. And when you need them the most, they'll always be there.